He kissed me into confession. Yet I lied again. I shouldn't have let him get that close. But when his lips brushed mine that night, my truth almost slipped out of me like water through my fingers. His breath was warm. His hands were steady. And the way his mouth slowly covered mine, God, it felt like he was kissing straight past my lips, digging into my secrets. I remember my knees shaking. I remember my fingers digging into his shirt. I remember wanting to tell him everything, wanting to confess what no wife should ever confess to a man who isn't her husband. But instead, I swallowed my truth. And I lied again. Before I continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video, because what I'm about to tell you is not easy, and it's not something I ever planned to admit, even anonymously. Let me take you back to how it all started. The beginning of my bad decision. My name doesn't matter. But what matters is this. I was lonely. Not alone, lonely. My husband, Mark, had not touched me, really touched me, for nearly a year. His kisses had become routine. His hugs were cold. And his eyes always looked tired, distracted, somewhere else. Our home in Maryland felt less like a home and more like a quiet museum where dust settled faster than love. Then he came, Daniel. A coworker. A friend. A man who smiled at me like I was still worth looking at. Worth wanting. Worth desiring. I should have walked away that first day he called me beautiful in the break room. I should have laughed it off. I should have reminded myself that compliments from handsome men with deep voices and soft eyes were dangerous. But I didn't. Because something inside me needed to feel alive again. The night that changed the way we stood. It happened on a rainy Thursday. The office was almost empty, and the sound of thunder rattled the windows like a warning. Daniel walked me to my car, his umbrella barely covering us both. The rain hit us sideways, soaking my hair, sticking my blouse to my skin. I was shivering, partly from cold, partly from something else. When we reached my car, the rain eased. And then he said it. I don't like seeing you sad. My throat tightened. I wasn't supposed to be that transparent. I'm fine, I whispered. You're lying, he said softly. Your eyes give you away. Then he stepped closer. Too close. Close enough that I could feel his heartbeat through our wet clothes. And then, he kissed me. Slow. Deep. Careful. Like he was unwrapping me with his mouth. My body betrayed me first, I kissed him back. My hand slid across his chest. My breathing got stuck in my throat. Everything in me wanted to melt into him. In that moment, I almost confessed everything. My marriage. My loneliness. My hunger. My guilt. I almost said, Daniel. I shouldn't be doing this. But instead, I pulled back, trembling, and whispered the first lie of many. It didn't mean anything. He looked at me, hurt flashing behind the desire in his eyes. Then why are you shaking? He asked. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know if it was shame. Or excitement. Or the beginning of something I could never undo. I wish I could tell you that I fought it. I wish I could say I walked away the moment I felt that first dangerous spark. But the truth is, I didn't. I let it burn me, slow, deep, shameless. Because the hunger that grew inside me wasn't supposed to exist. Not for him. Not for anyone but my husband. But hunger doesn't ask permission. It just rises, and takes. Before I continue, please like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell, so you don't miss any of these confessions. Trust me, you will want to hear where this goes. The first time he kissed me into that forced confession, my entire reality flipped like a cheap page in a cheap novel. I felt exposed, too seen, too touched, too pulled into something I had no business desiring. But chapter 2. This was where I became the problem. Because desire doesn't stay quiet. Not when the source of that desire keeps showing up in front of you, like temptation wearing skin. It was the following week. A normal Wednesday. A quiet afternoon. A harmless errand that wasn't supposed to be anything more than a drop-off at his office. But the moment he opened the door, shirt sleeves rolled up, veins on his forearms visible, scent warm like cedar and heat, my stomach clenched like something had awakened. Something starving. "Hey," he said, voice low, eyes lingering too long. Too knowing. Too dangerous. I felt the weakness in my knees like betrayal had become a physical symptom. I should have left. I should have kept my head straight. I should have remembered I was a married woman. But I didn't. I stepped inside. That was mistake number 1. "Why do you get so shy around me now?" he asked, leaning against the desk, watching me like he could read every hidden part of me. My throat tightened. "I'm not shy. Just tired." He laughed softly. That the lie of the day? I should have walked out. Instead, I sat down. Mistake number 2. The room felt like it was shrinking around us. Like the walls themselves knew what was about to happen. Then he came closer, slow, testing, deliberate. His fingers grazed my chin, lifting it just an inch. "Tell me something real," he whispered. And God help me. I almost did. I almost told him how I had replayed that first kiss in my mind like a stolen song. I almost told him how my body reacted to him in ways it hadn't reacted to my husband in months. I almost told him how I wanted him again, even though wanting him was the doorway to self-destruction. But I lied. "Forget it," I muttered, turning away. "You're imagining things." He laughed again, quiet, dangerous, masculine. "That's the second lie today." His hand slid behind my neck. Soft. Warm. Trouble. And that hunger, the one I didn't choose, the one I couldn't stop, rose again like it owned me. My breath trembled. I hated how my body leaned into his touch. I hated how he noticed. I hated that my heart wasn't loyal. But what I hated most was how good it felt. Before he kissed me, he whispered, "You're fighting yourself, not me." Then his lips met mine. Slow. Patient. Claiming. And the hunger exploded. His kiss made me forget the promises I made on my wedding day. It made me forget what loyalty was supposed to feel like. It made me forget the woman I used to be. I melted into him, shameless. I let him taste every lie I had told. I let him kiss me deeper than any man had in years. I fed the hunger. The hunger that shouldn't have been mine. When he pulled away, breath heavy, his forehead rested against mine. "You're going to break," he whispered. I swallowed hard. "I already am." He touched my lips, slow, tender, sinful. "And you're going to let me kiss you again, aren't you?" I should have said no. I should have stopped him. But instead, I nodded. And that was mistake number 3. The one I wouldn't recover from. If you're still watching, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Believe me, I have more to confess. The next part. That's when things start. I never feared a man's touch before him. But with Ethan, it wasn't fear. It was surrender. I didn't mean for things to go that far that night. I promised myself I would keep my distance, stay guarded, hold on to the thin thread of loyalty I still claimed to have. But the moment his fingers brushed my jaw, the moment he tilted my face gently upward, the moment his lips met mine, slow, warm, full of intent, I lost everything. My breath. My balance. My truths. Everything slipped. His kiss wasn't soft, it was persuasive. It tasted like demand, like desire, like a man who knew exactly what to do with a woman who had forgotten how to resist. My entire body betrayed me. My hands grabbed his shirt. My knees weakened. My voice trembled when I whispered his name. "Ethan." He pulled back only an inch, eyes burning, his forehead resting against mine. "Tell me the truth," he whispered. "Tell me why you keep running from this, from me." I should have confessed then. I should have told him I was married. I should have told him my life was not mine to offer. I should have told him that I wasn't the woman he thought I was. But instead, I kissed him again. Because kissing him was easier than telling the truth. Easier than admitting the guilt burning inside me. Easier than facing the reality that I had already crossed the line long before his lips touched mine. I melted into him, letting his arms wrap around me, letting his hands guide me into the corner of his apartment where the shadows hid us like partners in a crime we refused to acknowledge. His lips dragged down my neck. My breath shook. My fingers clutched the back of his head. "Tell me," he murmured against my skin. "Why does it feel like you belong to me?" My heart stopped. Belong. A word I had not heard from my own husband in years. I opened my mouth. The truth almost came out. But then, my phone vibrated. My husband's name flashed across the screen. And just like that, everything inside me froze. I pulled away from Ethan immediately, stepping back like the room had erupted in flames. He watched me, confused, hurt, hungry for answers. "You're hiding something from me," he said quietly. I swallowed hard, my chest rising and falling like I had run miles. "Yes," I whispered. And for a moment, I almost told him. But then my fear returned. Fear of losing my marriage. Fear of losing the man standing in front of me. Fear of losing myself. So I lied. Again. "I'm just not ready," I said. "It's not you. It's me. I'm complicated." He didn't believe me. But he didn't push. He stepped close again, lifting my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. "If you won't give me the whole truth," he murmured, "then at least let me kiss you until you remember who you want to be." And he did. He kissed me gently this time, slow, searching, patient. As if he believed he could pull the truth out of my mouth with nothing but desire. And maybe he could have. But I lied with my silence. Because his kiss was my weakness. And my lies? My only shield. If you'd like, I can continue straight to chapter 4, or refine the chapter to be hotter, darker, more emotional, or more dramatic. I always believed a lie could survive as long as you kept your lips steady. But that night, his hands, not his questions, became the thing that pressed me hardest. I didn't plan to end up in his arms again. I told myself I was only going to see him for closure, but closure was a word I used when I actually meant temptation I'm not ready to abandon. He opened the door before I even knocked. "Your breathing gave you away," he said softly. I stepped inside. And instantly, the room felt like it inhaled me whole, his scent, his warmth, his presence. Everything was familiar, yet everything turned dangerous the moment his fingers lifted my chin. "Look at me," he whispered. I did. And just like every other time, I got lost. His touch spoke first. He brushed a thumb across my cheek, slow and deliberate, the way someone studies a scar they never knew existed. "You're hiding something," he murmured. Not accused. Not questioned. Just felt. It was terrifying because he was right. His hand slipped to my waist, pulling me closer, closer than any lie could protect me from. "You lie with your mouth," he said, "but your body, it tells the truth every time." My heart slammed against my ribs. My knees softened. And suddenly, every little secret I kept buried under my marriage, under my routines, under my fake smiles, started shaking loose. The heat turned honest. When he kissed my shoulder, slow enough to feel like a confession, my breath hitched. Not because of guilt, but because he was reading me too well. His fingers traced my spine. "Tell me why you came," he whispered against my skin. I swallowed. I wanted to tell him. "Because you make me feel alive. Because my husband stopped seeing me. Because I crave you more than I should. Because you make the truth feel safer than my lies. But instead I said, I don't know. Another lie. And he heard it. His grip tightened, not rough, not painful, just demanding. Demanding honesty. Don't do that, he murmured. Not with me. I shivered. His touch didn't seduce this time. It interrogated. Not with force, but with intimacy so deep it became impossible to hide behind. Every kiss felt like a question. Every touch felt like a reminder. Every breath he stole from me echoed with, tell me the truth. And maybe I would have. Maybe everything would have spilled out. But lies are addictive. And I was fully hooked. So I leaned into him, let his hands warm the parts of me I thought had turned cold, and I whispered, I'm fine. Nothing is wrong. The biggest lie of the night. He pulled back, not angry, not hurt, just certain. You'll tell me, he said, voice calm, confident. Not now. But soon. Because your body already knows the truth. And as he kissed me again, deeper, slower, with a kind of hunger that wasn't for pleasure but for answers, I realized. His touch wasn't asking anymore. It was unwrapping me. And I wasn't ready. I never thought one kiss could drag every buried truth to the surface. But that night, it did. Ethan stood in front of me in his apartment, his jaw tight, his eyes darker than anything I'd ever seen him wear. He wasn't touching me. Not this time. And somehow, that scared me more than if he had pinned me to the wall the way he usually did. I felt naked, even while fully clothed. Tell me again, he said quietly. You said you were done lying, so say it again. His voice was calm. Too calm. The type of calm that means the storm has already arrived. I swallowed hard. My throat felt like paper. I told you, I whispered. I ended things with my husband. He just stared at me. No blink. No reaction. Then he said the words that sliced my spine in half. Your husband called me. My knees went weak. No breath came out of me. My lies, every one of them, rose like flames behind my ribs. He found my number, Ethan continued, pacing slowly. Said he saw messages. Said he had suspicions. His eyes found mine. He asked me if I was the man you'd been seeing. The room grew smaller. Hotter. Crueler. What did you say? My voice cracked. I said the truth, he replied softly. That I care about you. He stepped closer. But I didn't tell him you were planning to leave. Because you lied. You never told him anything. My soul hollowed out. I tried to reach for him, he stepped back. You could have just told me, he said. I didn't need perfection. Just honesty. But You lied even while kissing me, he whispered. Do you know how that feels? A tear slipped down my cheek. Not dramatic. Just quiet, tired, guilty. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't angry in the loud way. But his disappointment crushed harder than any rage. I loved you, he said. You know that, right? Past tense. Loved. It stabbed deeper than any truth I tried to run from. He walked to the door and held it open. Not aggressively. Not bitterly. Just, finished. I'm not punishing you, he murmured. Not with me. I shivered. His touch didn't seduce this time. It interrogated. Not with force, but with intimacy so deep it became impossible to hide behind. Every kiss felt like a question. Every touch felt like a reminder. Every breath he stole from me echoed with, tell me the truth. And maybe I would have. Maybe everything would have spilled out. But lies are addictive. And I was fully hooked. So I leaned into him, let his hands warm the parts of me I thought had turned cold, and I whispered. I'm fine. Nothing is wrong. The biggest lie of the night. He pulled back, not angry, not hurt, just certain. You'll tell me, he said, voice calm, confident. Not now. But soon. Because your body already knows the truth. And as he kissed me again, deeper, slower, with a kind of hunger that wasn't for pleasure but for answers, I realized. His touch wasn't asking anymore. It was unwrapping me. And I wasn't ready.